Let there be light, and there was light. So we are continuing. I felt that there was more to do on the formed um, God, the characteristics of the God who formed. Naturally, it would be like this because forming really consists of acts, work. It's physical, it's mental, it applies or it requires so many applications. So I felt by looking at the word formed and the letters that we had, meaning the functions of those words, which we have like do, which is very active, like I've been saying, the word for, the word or, because the word or in itself was very inviting to find out more words. It's like there has to be something more or yes, and the word dome and dome, of course, because we have your dome and a dome. um those are things that they are words that facilitate so much. Drum. Now I've been looking at the word drum and I thought, well, how would we have known that there were drums already, that word formed has in it drum, right here, drome, and of course it's making sure I have this correct. It's drome. Yes. So, and it's about, yeah, the longest word that I have so far, of course. And so that in itself, I'm looking at the word form is also the word, well, there is no from. I was looking at the possibility of adding ed behind the word from, so just to use up all the letters, but no. Drum, let's go back to drum. And we feel, and I've heard this before, that we feel that we are in a modern world. We are the inventors of technology and the inventors of all that we see. But this in itself is telling us, which is confirming that we are not the original people. So the knowledge that we have is not anything new, like in the scriptures, Ecclesiastics, where he says there is nothing new under the sun. And so basically, we feel that we have invented drums, and no, according to the word formed, that would have been inclusive in that word as well. So technology had been formed already. So we have all these. When we come up with the idea, these are all parts of our makeup. We were formed, like it says, in his image and likeness. So all those attributes or inventions, or they are not new. They are we are reacting to those ideas and those I was going to say, to the software that has been implanted within us. We are reacting to those. And by our reaction, because the word react is really create, which I have done. But I like to have fun with this. So let's look at that. So when it says God created, 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 and the word reacted, acted, we see that they are really the same, one and the same. So, which equals 11, because I have done the numerical value before, and of course 11 is 2 ones. So we see that we have which is the first master number recorded in the Bible as well. That's the first. In the beginning, God created. The word created the heavens. In the beginning, God created. In the beginning, God created. So created is the fifth word in the scriptures. Just making sure I've got this right. In the beginning, God created. So created is the fifth word. This is why the number 5 is expansion. It is expansive in its essence. It's able to see on the left and on the right implicitly. So and that's where reaction comes into play as well, because that is the function that had taken place to create or react. They're both the same. Okay, so going back to the word formed, we are looking at the word formed, and I came up with some other words. So I came up with the word roam. So we can see that roam, one can roam somewhere, and of course we have Rome as well, which is the main place of well, the Vatican, and of course this is the Catholic, or do we say the hub? This is the place of religion, or the root of religion for us. In this sense, this is what we're going to say. I'm saying here, it may not have been, but this is what we know as the root of the religion that has shaped us right here. So it has the me with it as well. And we know here we have ROM, as in CD-ROM, as in the capacity of your computer, the drive. So we are part of the ROM right there in the Rome, which we will formed. So it's ROME. We were formed in this image and likeness. So again, the computer gives us quite a good picture of our makeup. This is where the computers designed after our makeup. Now we have been led to believe that the computer is what shapes us, instead of us believing that the computer is we who shape the computers. So it's the thing that we are. It's as if we are selling ourselves and forgetting that we sold our ideas, and now we are buying it at a very expensive cost, packaged in words or frames that we do not recognize, because we have bought into the word forgetfulness instead of the word remembering. So that's another thing Mother Eve really wants us to understand. In case you are new to this channel, I'm talking about Mother Eve from the Bible, who is the mother of all living, who is the mother when spoken of by Adam. He says, he calls her Eve because she is the mother, or he in fact was the mother of all living, because the word was also in itself gives the full picture of what has gone beyond and what is present, because the word was, let's use the other board. So the word was WAS, which equals 7, because we are talking about two sets of 7 gods, in essence, the 14 gods, or which we are of. So the word was has as in it. So it's making reference. Was is never the absence of as we think. It is right there. It is also here. What is like the word there, THERE, has in it here. I have done quite a lot of expansive explanation on the word there and here. It has he and her. It has all the polarities. And so we see that the word was is also the word it has in it as, and it's also saw, SAW, meaning like 7 as in the numerical value that it equates. It's like a saw. It's like it's been cut to give a sense of demarcation, or a sense of separateness, or a sense of wholeness. When we say separateness, there's something you see as whole away from the other half or the other portion of what it is. And so this is was is as. Okay, and the word as is 11 right here. So was is as what is created and what is reacted, because this is 1 is 11. Right, so we are going back to the word formed, which is very interesting. The reason for all this, if you're new to this, is to understand the characteristics of the gods. The God who breathed. I have done the God who breathed, the God who blessed, because the word breathed has so much in it. It has heart in it, and it has earth in it. So there we see, this is where it is said, and when God breathed into man's nostrils, he became a living soul. So the living, that's where he became alive, live in. The in essence was where Mother Eve really, it encapsulates Mother Eve to the T, because in equals 14, and 14 is Eve when we do the numerical value for the word or name Eve. Okay, so we had to give a fuller explanation on here. We have door, or we see that like a biblical term as well, I think. And I was trying to remember the word for the first part of this presentation, which is the dromedary. That's the word I was looking for, dromedary. So we see the word drum, of course, is very much part of dromedary. Okay, which is very biblical. And we have the word dome. So this is like a shield, and of course, that facilitates so much. It's like our heads are shaped like a dome. It is a dome. That's where our brain is sheltered, in that dome. Okay. And of course, this is where I'm talking about the word 7 as well. So it would seem like if we were severed part of our head, which would be like the roundness of the earth, for instance. So we have the earth, which is said that the earth, again, I'm going to make reference to Dr. Delbert Blair, I believe it is, who gave, or could it have been Dr. Blair or somebody that I watched, gave a wonderful explanation of the earth. Even if it is, this is the idea of the flat or round earth, the arguments that's been going on, that there is a veil. The veil on the earth forms the dome, which is like invisible, or it's not visible to our eyes, but it still has the dome aspect to it, or effect to it, where we cannot penetrate, or we find difficult to penetrate that wall. So of course there is the flatness. So it was, if you can imagine, like an egg, and you cut the egg in half. So, and you would have that flatness. So that would represent the earth, of course. But the rest of that, or inside the yolk, you could say, you would have taken that yolk part off, and there is a an empty space, that door. I don't know why I didn't just do it on here. So it's like the an O. This is the earth, and this is the flat earth right here. So this is the flat, and there is an empty space in here, an empty space here. Okay, so of course, this is where hell is, and this is where heaven is. Okay, however we want to see it, depending on which side of earth you are on. You might be gravitating to that way, to that part, and able to stand. Who knows? Christ walked on water, and perhaps we can really see ourselves. There's the gravity could really hold our feet in place on there. Okay, that's just me on this part here. Now let's look at the or. Of course, we see these are words right here, and so far we see a lot of words with the O in here, meaning that the world is really part central here. The earth or the world. Apart from red, of course, the E in this sense could also have a representation, because the red is that which is the blood that flows. It's necessary that it has this which is 3 as well, because if you have been watching me, I do go on about where the 3 is very active. It's the magic number. It's always seeking for partnership, although it's already a W, but it's seeking to perhaps that's how it seeks to multiply, because there is the W. So I'm talking about 3-letter words here. Of course, or, here, or is part of the or here as well. Okay, now what I felt was a very interesting word to come from the word formed is more. So more of what? We had been formed. Now we see that from the first commandments, I call it the first commandments that we were given, when it is said, multiply, go be fruitful, multiply, replenish, have subdue, and have dominion. These were the 5 things. Multiply, multiply, or be fruitful. I think fruitful was the first. I may not say it in order. Subdue, have dominion, and replenish. So these were 5 things that we were given. These are the 5 commands man was given when man had been reacted or made or created or formed or planted on the earth. All of those things, or set in the earth. All those things were part of the human, and were given these commandments, where Mother Eve said, behold, I have given you all things, or I have given you all fruit bearing. I say things, but all fruit bearing tree, that which have its seed in it after its kind. So there are 2 aspects to that command, because fruit yielding seed, a tree that bears seed, really must bear more. It must increase. This is where the word more comes in as well. We see that, and it has actually more. What I have just noticed with this word more is really more, because it has or in the middle, and of course me at the 2 ends is me. So we can see that or, which represents other dimensions. When I say dimensions, other aspects, or is other, the other. And we have me. Of course, where there is me, there is we. If we turn the M upside down, then we have we. Now, I have also showed that the letter M and the letter E is really one and the same. So I have done this, and I will do it again, because this is what Mother Eve is calling us to understand these attributes of the gods. So then by understanding the attributes of the gods, we understand our makeup, we understand their voices, their characteristics, and their makeup within ourselves. So the word more, M-O-R-E, I'm seeing it very interesting. Now, no wonder when someone says more, more of what more are you asking for? More of what exactly? Okay, so we have OR, which gives us other, which denotes other. Now, in other itself has the word to, it has her, it has he, it has the. So the word or already is telling us so much. So it has the, meaning the object or the subject. Then it has he, which is masculine, and then it has her, which is feminine. It also has OT, which would be, of course, there's the other thing with the word other. There's the two last letters in themselves also form the word or because Mother Eve has taught us to do that. Mother Eve says always look at the first and the last letter. They are key. So whatever is hidden inside is the occult. The and he. The and he is always kind of really hiding inside. He's hiding something. Yes. Okay. So her and THE. Now, so this really is complete. We can see this gives us such a nice pattern in itself. OR, THE, and T and HE. Okay. All right. So there we see from these two letters here, this is where more really comes into play, because E is the M upside down, it is the 3, it is the W, and it is also the W, and it's also E. Likewise, the same goes for M. M is M, it is 3, it is E, and it's also W. So here we have 8-petal flower right here in these two letters. Now that is the magnitude and power of letters, which are symbols. So we could take two symbols, depending, this is how when we react, this is what Mother Eve wants us to understand, our reaction to a symbol or to symbols or to things. That's how we create. That's what Mother Eve is showing us here. So with these two letters, we have two sets of 8-petal flowers. 2 8s are 16. Of course, 1 plus 6 is 7. The petal. So there we have 7. This we could say is half of our 7 gods right here, 7 days of the week. So in the 2 sevens, the two here, of course, everything breeds after its kind. So there we think we are the original, but there might have been 2 flowers coming together forming 7. This is numerology right here, because everything needs to come back into itself as whole, the whole. So if it were the flower, for instance, we could say, if it were a single flower, 8-petal flower that you wanted to look at, you could say this is the top part of the 8-petal flower, and this is the bottom part of the 8-petal flower. So the two comes to form the whole. So there we are. All of this more has been part of how we have been formed. And so with the multiplication, this is where we were asked to multiply. Our multiply, of course, is increase. And there we are asked um, very much so in the book of Proverbs, for instance, and Ecclesiastics as well, to seek wisdom, which is also wisdom, is the numerical value of 11, which coincides with the word created as reacted. So this is what we are talking about here. Now, let's do the numerical value for the word more, because we are about fun. So we have been going with more here. All right. So this is 5, 9, 6, 4. So this would be 10, 15. This would be 24. 24, of course. More is 24. 2 plus 4 is 6. Now, this is why it is said again that the 6 is the number of man. 6 is the sex number. And how do we increase? It's by sex. Okay, so there we see that 6 and 6 is really one and the same. Because even when we do the numerical value for the word sex, it equals, I believe it equals, do I remember? I think it equals 7. But if we do the, okay, let's look at this. So there we are, 6, 5, 1. So 6 plus 6 is 12. Of course, 12. Now, 12, 1 plus 2 is 3. There we go back into this petal, the W. Okay, now when we do the numerical value for the word 3, it gives us 11, which is to increase. Just as I have been saying, 1, this is the first master number. It would mean that sex is the master act number. The act number where there are 2. So there have to be 2 in that reaction or action. Like the W right here, like the word there, when Mother Eve says, let there be. So when Mother Eve says, let there be, the word there is also wisdom. Okay, like I have showed that it has there and here, like the word was, has as. Okay. So, of course, the word, there is more to the word sex as well. Even when we do the numerical value for the word 12, I believe it comes to 24. Like, let's do this because we are about fun. So the word 12, TWELVE, which is 2, 5, 5. Wherever there's 12 is Mother Eve because all these 5s are there. 4, 3. Okay, so 5, 10, 15. 19, 22, 22 plus 2 is 24. That's correct. So we can see when we have 12 hours of the day, we are talking about 24 hours of the day in 12, of course, waking hours, if we want to say. But there we have, so 12 here, as in sex, is also 6 right here. If we were to, we can look at it that way as well. So, and the number 6, I know equals 7. So that comes into exactly what I have been talking about, the 2 petal flowers. Okay, number 6 and number 7. So basically, this is where it says God ended his work on the 7th day. Ended. So we see everything was done in 6. So everything is done in sex. Everything is done with vibration. That's what sex is about, vibration. Okay. Going into it. Okay. So back to the word formed. Why am I telling you what sex is? You know what sex is. Okay. All right. So the word formed, we see that it has more in it, and we can really go on. I love the word more showing up in the word formed, because these are the things we take for granted. So we can see how everything, all the seeds that had been in the word formed, it has been within us from the act of the God who formed us. So where we are learning that Mother Eve is the one who sinned, the word formed has given us a very deep insight to the characteristics of the God who we were fashioned after. I hope you have enjoyed this. I hope you have found this fun. And do like and subscribe if you're a new viewer. And do share, of course, because by sharing, we are growing. Remember, we are here to multiply, we are increase, be fruitful, subdue. Of course, let's not subdue right now. The time for subdue was has ended because we are in this 8th cycle, of course, so we are collating all the information necessary to forming this this new world order. Okay, thank you for joining us. Do like and subscribe, as I said, and spill over with love. Let there be light, and there was light.